Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Y'all make sure we live and direct while it's just us. TikTok, I appreciate the platform and the opportunity, excuse me, to connect with like-minded individuals. With that said, we're gonna use this platform to edify, uplift, educate, might be a little bit entertaining. We don't know, but we're gonna do our best. Hey man, peace, light, and love. We got another day, y'all. I say we got another day, man, another moment in this thing called the present. I say we in this thing called the present, right? And each moment of the present is always new. I've received many presents in my lifetime, but they got old. Some of them were lost. But I got a present right now that I'm experiencing that's always new and I can't lose. If that's not a miracle, I don't know what is, man. I like to start out creating this content with a miracle and acknowledging a miracle. Not only is it a miracle, it's one I get to witness and experience. Therefore, I can give testimony. You dig what I'm saying? And so it's a difference between testimony and doctrine. With that said, trigger warning to the Christian, Jews, and Muslims. Trigger warning to you. If you have not begun the process of deconstructing your religious belief system, this may not be a safe space for you. If what you consider the Bible and script or scripture is the authority, this may not be a safe space for you. But peace, light, and love to everybody that can hear me. Good vibration, good health, good energy to you and yours. If you can hear me right now, what's happening, what's good. I come with the best of intentions for you and to share with you the truth by way of revelations that have been revealed to me. Nobody taught me what it is I speak on. I didn't read it in a book or hear it in a speaker in a speech or out of pulpit. It was revealed, and I share with you these revelations just so that we can understand and establish the dynamics of this exchange. I got some Bible verses up there for you today that we're going to look at as we continue the process of despookifying and deconstructing the Bible. Let me start my preamble before I get into these verses that I'm finna share with you the revelation of today. The purpose of these lives and me creating this content is to share what has been revealed to me from what's called the kingdom, which is within you. The book that we call the Bible contains many words and many spells and many spellings of words that many of us have religious attachments to, according to a doctrine or a belief system. But every word has a meaning, including the word God. It has a meaning and a definition. The problem is, because of our lack of understanding, because of the lack of understanding from those who translated the book, who stole the information from our ancestors, there is much confusion about the term God. So we start from the beginning in deconstructing, and we must start with the term. What that term means. What's the definition of it? And then we'll use what's called the script to confirm for you the definition that's being given. Not the feeling, not the belief. We're going to define the term, and then we're going to see if the phenomena, which is the script, matches with the term. We do this in this way because we understand the difference between sacred and profane. The heavens, the earth, and the world. We know the difference. We have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And when it comes to this, as far as this iteration of it, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is full. It's reaching its fullness in front of you. When knowledge, wisdom, and understanding reaches its fullness or is complete, it is called a day or an age. This is the dawning of a new age where we go from the age of belief to the age of I know. Go slow. I'm going slow. Y'all know me. We'll get to cooking. Bear with it. So if you already know, you've been rocking with me, the term God, as we know it in the Bible, is from a Hebrew term, from a Hebrew language. And it means, well, the Hebrew word for God was Elohim. And it is a plural word. The singular form of Elohim is El. So when we reach our old age, we are considered elders. And this is for the elect, the elect. Elohim mean mighty ones or powers. Might and power are words. They have definitions. When you look up these words, you understand that the word might can be applied to you, and so can the word power. You have the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. And so did your parents, your mother, and your father, who named you and made you act in a desired manner and whoop your ass with all they might and loved you with all they might and protected you with all they might. That's how you got here. Because they was making love with all they might. If it's in alignment. We just gonna despoofify the term. So it means the powers or the mighty ones. What's being created is being created from what's called a kingdom. When we talk about God in the Bible, we speak of God creating from and existing in a kingdom. A kingdom is a type of government. And the kingdom, the king and the queen, represent the supreme authority. They are sovereign. There is no authority, no law, or no word on the land above theirs. Tell me when I start lying. The difference between the sacred and the profane, though, is that what's sacred is not seen, touched, tasted, smelled, or heard. It is experience. And when you give word to what is considered sacred, when you speak, it is to profane it. It's to bring it down in its purity. Because the thought, the understanding, the revelation is pure, and it doesn't consist of words It consists of a knowing. You start getting it, and then what you look around and see around you confirm what you come into the knowing of. It's incorruptible and pure because it is what it is. Like, you experienced that, you were witness to it, you know it happened. You can deny it out of your mouth. You could misconstrue it or not explain it in the way that does it justice. That's why when you speak it, it is to make it corrupted, profane, because you really can't give words to do it justice to the experience that you had, the coming into a knowing that happened to you, the revelation that you received, the download that you got that was put into words. Sometimes I can't explain it. Yes, this is the sacred, but it is there and you are witness to it because you experience it. This is what's called sacred. And it's sacred. The sacredness of it is because it doesn't contain anything physical, yet it manifests to you, it makes known two things that are physical. Everything physical confirm the knowing that came to you. This witness is a faithful and true witness because that's you. It all happened in the mind, in the king's dome. Because in proper alignment, there is no higher authority in this realm than you. We're going to get to it in a minute, but first we got to understand the term God. So when we read John chapter 20, verse 17, it won't be so much contention behind it. But we just going to break down the symbols first. We're going to go backwards today. I usually start with Genesis 1:26 and then go from there. But today we're going to start in John, the Gospel of John, the Gospel of John. I got to use the Gospel. I got to use the book to reach you. Because after the spoken word, which corrupt the sacred, the written word corrupt the spoken. It is the most easily corruptible form of communication because you're not a witness. You didn't see who wrote it. You didn't see why they wrote it. You don't know who they wrote it to. You might be thinking, hey man, listen to me. And if you don't know, if you didn't see it wrote down, you don't know who they wrote it to, man. They can pull up on you and tell you this stuff was written by a guy like this. They'll say, yeah, this guy right here wrote it. It's about this guy right here. Because you didn't see who wrote it. You don't know who wrote it, when they wrote it, why they wrote it, or who they wrote it to. That's why we say the script is the most corruptible form of communication. And because we in upside down backwards world, you have placed script as your highest authority. You say, hey man, I'm not going to accept it unless you give it to me in this most profane way. I'm going to stare at the screen. I'm going to repeat that. I say, man, since we in upside down backwards world, our people say we won't accept the testimony or the revelation unless you present it to me in its most profane, corruptible form. Okay? Okay. Give it to you just like you like it. Let's go to John chapter 20, verse 17 for the people that just get them all excited. It's your favorite guy right here. So the name, we got to bust down the name Jesus, mean in Hebrew is Yahshua or Yeshua. And the YH, the Yah part, is an abbreviation of what's called the Tetragrammaton, which means the 4 letters. The Tetragrammaton is given in Exodus chapter 3, verses 13 and 14. By revelation, I will share with you that the Tetragrammaton, the 4 letters, is pronounced you. but it is a silent you, sacred you. The you that you can't see, touch, taste, smell, or hear, only experience in your mind. That you. And we know it is pronounced you because it means I am. And everybody listening to me, despite what your parents named you, call yourself I am. Everybody. It is not a coincidence. Not only are we called I am, we are called you. So the YH in the Yahshua is short for I am. And that's what it means. Tell them I am sent you. The Yah part mean I am. And the difference between the sacred and the profane is the sacred mean that the meaning is placed above what it look or sound like. In upside down backwards world, what it sound like and what it look like is placed above what it mean. But when we understand the meaning of the word, there can be no confusion. It means what it means. Yah, you mean I am. Now, because it's one meaning. It's a whole lot of different connotations and associations. But you go to Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, and it's going to give you I am. And it was replaced with the term Lord in the book because I am is considered sacred. And to write it down is to profane it. So they gave you Lord that represent the profane form of I am. But let's keep going. Shua means salvation. Yah, Shua, I am salvation. Meshiach or Meshiach, the anointed one. That's what the name means. I am salvation because, you are the light of the world. And what the world is being saved from is darkness. And light, according to the king's dome, or in the kingdom, is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And it is symbolized by light. The sun is a symbol of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which is contained or experienced, reaches its fullness or completion in the mind. That you can't see, touch, taste, smell, or hear, only experience. Anointed one, because ain't but one you, right? Or how many of you is it? We talking about God. That's the point of it. Despoofifying and deconstructing the term God. Deconstructing and despoofifying the term. I'm looking for something, hold on. If you hear my stomach growl, I ain't ate nothing yet, man. So I already hear it. I am salvation, the anointed one, the confession that you gotta make at some point when you realize who you are and what you are. And speaking to my people, we are the only people whose lineage and history has been denied to us and hidden from us, our identity. We got our people sitting in front of you with a straight face finna tell you about Peter, Paul, and Jesus and Moses, but can't tell you who their granddaddy is, their great granddaddy is, their great grandmother is. But can tell you about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and Paul and this, that, and the third, and Peter. Who your great great granddaddy? Who your great great grandmother on your daddy's side? But I'm crazy. You're the only people in the world, us, the only people in this reality whose lineage has been hidden from them. So we're gonna help you understand your heritage, your birthright, your inheritance, who you are. What we're telling you is that, hold on, I ain't gonna go there yet. I'm gonna give you your book first. Y'all want this book. Y'all want this doctrine, especially this character. So I'm gonna give it to you right here. Let's go to John chapter 20, verse 17. This is after the crucifixion and the resurrection. Jesus is talking to Mary. Let's go to verse 16. Jesus said to her, Mary. She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, Rabboni, which means teacher. Jesus said, do not hold on to me, for I have not yet returned to the Father. Go instead to my brothers and tell them, I am returning to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. And a lot of people that's, we in alignment and in this awakening, we refer to this verse so that to use it to show Christians, Christians say Jesus is the Father, Jesus is everything. You know what I'm saying? And we use that verse to show Christians where Jesus has a father, Jesus has a mother, and Jesus has a God. So if you're saying that Jesus is God, then that means God can have a father, God can have a mother, and God can have a God. We saying that you are gods and that your ancestors were considered gods by the ancestors of those who stole this information and presented to you in the form of what's called the Bible, who stole your story and presented it to you as a mystery, presented it to you as if it was his story. You're the only people whose identity has been stolen. Who are you? What are you? What's your lineage? God. We're talking about the first kingdom ever in the history of the concept of the term kingdom. Let's look at the term. Let's look at the tetragrammaton, right? That's one of your names or titles for your God that you believe in its most corruptible form. So let's look at it in the form that you understand it and apply it. Why 4 letters? Why is it 4 letters? It's the same reason that the character Jesus show up 4,000 years after Adam with 4 gospels. And Judah is the 4th son of Israel. It's all for the same reason. Because of what goes down on the 4th day of creation. So let's understand these 4 letters, because we talking about the difference between the sacred and the profane, because you got the symbol, but you never got the meaning. So you thought it was about a pronunciation or a title or a name, but it's about a meaning. Just like 7 is a symbol for completion. Seven represent completion, so it's a symbol for something. It doesn't symbolize an amount of anything. But from the profane level, that's what it is. It represents a tool for counting. So you get your 7-day week in which is your 7-headed beast. Because you got bound inside of what's called time in this system. We don't want to get too fast. Why 4 letters? Why? Because you go through 4 seasons. The sun, which is you, goes through 4 seasons. Let's put them in order for you so that you can bear witness and testify to the seasons that the sun go through as you. In this order, winter is your infancy. That's when you get born. Spiritually, talking about the level of understanding and the sun being awakened up when you're an infant. You know, the baby sleep all the time and not really aware of himself, the son or herself, the son, the soul, the mind is not woke yet. So it's dark. And then you go into your spring period as a young child, little kid. You're going when you first start to bloom and develop. Run around, jumping around, you growing like a little weed. Then summertime is your adulthood. That's when it's time to start, you probably done got in the ready to sow you some seed and put you some stuff down. You in full bloom, you in full strength. Cause we talking about family. We always talk about mama and dad and the son, but we never talk about sister. Because if wisdom is nature, because the wisdom of God manifests through nature, as nature. And then her daughter is the earth, which we stand on, the understanding, wisdom, understanding. And the son represent the strength, because the father represent power. We talking about a family unit. Mama, daddy, sister, brother. I'm gonna bust it all down. We said 4, right? All right. So we just gonna keep on walking till you put it together and come out of spook land with me. Get it to you from the King's Dome. All right. Then you reach your elderly state in the fall when you reap whatever it is that you sown throughout your season. So, and then in the fall, that's when the apple fall from the tree, so that we can get back into the ground, go into the ground, and then your winter season when the sun get reborn, because you're going to be reborn and repeat the cycle. But in upside down backwards world, they say winter is when you're an old man. Spring is when you're a baby. It's not necessarily upside down backwards realm. It's the shadow. It's still true in this dual state. It's true in this way. When the Most High say, let there be light, when God said, let there be light, when mama and daddy say, let's make a baby, it start with the thought. The light is not his wisdom and understanding. So the first of creation is the light. This is considered springing forth when you flip it. But we always talking about these 4 seasons that the sun traveled through in one way or the other. And we talking about the sun now. When we talking about the sun, we talking about your soul. Soul mean light. S-O-L mean light. So that's what we talking about. The 4 seasons that's experienced as you go through your different periods or stages of development. levels of understanding, levels of awareness. I am you. So when the light was made, when the soul was made, that's you. So when you in alignment, when mama and daddy is in alignment, right? Mama and daddy are sovereign. They on their own land and they doing them. And they doing it according to how the family already established, because the land that they own is their inheritance. And the land that their parents was on was their inheritance all the way back. This is this is what we established to the world. We taught the world this setup. Power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. So your ancestors taught the world about the constellations, about family unit, about government, kingdoms, laws, and we passed on this information and this understanding by way of signs and symbols. I'm telling you that these observations and these signs and symbols that your ancestors came up with and shared with the world was stolen, taken from you, and they presented it to you like it was theirs and about them, and called this God. When we was talking about God, they was talking about your ancestors who taught the world about the concept in the first place. That's where they got it. When we came, listen to me, this is what I mean. When we pulled up on people and showed them how we would predict floods by looking at the constellations and knowing how to make things grow when they didn't know how to make stuff grow and how to build things and how to light things with the angles of light from the sun. I said, knowing how to light things and start fire using angles of light from the sun. They looked at us like gods. They studied under us. We taught everybody. Everywhere you look on in this realm, you find us. When they talk about God, they talking about your ancestors. That's why God can have a father and a mother. That's why God can have a father and a mother. The problem is you took the term God and placed it above everything. But this is a profane thing. This is a word, a spell, a title that you set up here in the temple and told yourself there is nothing above this concept. There is nothing above this term. That's the problem. See, it's always something above what you can name, what you can define, and what you can speak, what you can see. And we talking about with our three eyes. So what you can know is always something unknown. To what you can know, there's something that's unknowable. That's why I said the throne is seated in deep darkness. You don't have a word for that. Ain't none. Because once you understand the sacred and profane, once you try to, you are profaning it. It's always going to be, it's until you acknowledge, it's always going to be something above what you can think of. You done thought of this term God. Somebody done gave you this term God and told you it meant something, associated a feeling with it. But what you didn't know was the term God was talking about you and your ancestors, and that your ancestors knew it, so did theirs. We also know that there is the ineffable, inexpressible. We know there is a deep darkness. We know there's stuff we can't explain, that we can't give no words to, yet experience. We never acknowledged that. We never said that there wasn't the case. That was never the issue. That's why God have a mother and a father and a God. Because my father is my God. Go all the way back when we looking at to the most high, when we talk about grandparents and great great grandparents, all the way to the most high. Parents, mother and father. The first one that set up the family lineage with full knowledge of what they was doing. They wasn't just screwing and hunching. They was passing on the whole family lineage intentionally, purposefully. We understood that the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that's called light is contained in DNA. That's where you get it. So we made sure we studied this realm and understood how it worked, the inner workings, the outer workings, so that we could pass it on through DNA. Meaning the family unit had to be contained, maintained, seen as sacred and divine to those with no knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of themselves. We're talking about the ones that understood. These are the ages that we look for, a type of understanding. That's what we look for, a type of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to emerge at the dawn of every age. When we procreate as gods, creating in our likeness and in our image, knowing that when we manifest through our family line, our bloodline. It's kept meticulously on purpose. Don't just put our seed anywhere. Our women don't just accept any seed. You gotta know who and what you are and what you're doing, what you're passing on. And what you're passing on needs to be intentional in order to be a child of God, son of God, as opposed to being a child of this world, born with no understanding of yourself from parents who have no understanding of themselves. It's a difference. What's the topic? The topic is God, the term God, despookifying the term God. So we looking at John, right? Chapter 20, verse 17, and you got your boy Jesus saying, after the resurrection, don't touch me because I ain't yet ascended to the Father. And go tell my brethren that I'm ascending to my Father and your Father, and my God and your God. God and your God. And we have a lot of people that practice the religious belief system and ideology that Jesus is God. Jesus is their God. What I'm trying to get my people to understand is the term God, as it is applied, is actually referring to your ancestors, your mother and your father. That's why Jesus, who you call God, can have a God. And he called his father his God. But we have taken the term and religified it and spookified it in our mind, and we think there is nothing above this term. So in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, when it say, and God said, let us, we was talking about mama and daddy. The first that were consciously aware of what they were creating and why. That was passing on knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through DNA. The first to establish the family unit as sacred and divine, by which it becomes a kingdom. We talking about your ancestors. We saying that your enemy, your oppressors, used to call your ancestors God. That's what we saying. That's what this about. And we using your Bible. We using your Bible to show you that. That's why the one you call God has a God and a mother and a father. Because God don't mean what you associate it to mean. God is referring to us and our ancestors, our lineage. That's what make us God. The light of the world, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding passed on through DNA. But you have to understand what the word means. Yeah, they stay trying to steal. That's what they do, is steal it, steal it, steal it. Brenda's my name. I need to know what my I don't know. I'm just going through some let me not get in this comment section right now. So when we look at John, and that's where I'm finna go back to. John mean grace, the grace of God, by the way. Translated from is Hebrew, mean the grace of God. Grace come first. And I said I was going at John chapter 20, verse 17. Jesus said unto her, touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father. But go to my brethren and say unto them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. All right. So if you say Jesus is God, then this verse right here will confirm that God has a God and a Father. Who gonna deny Jesus didn't have a mother? So God can have a mother and a father and a God and still be God. And still be God as long as he look like this. Huh. I say God can have a mother and a father and a God and still be God as long as he look like this. But if I tell you, you God, you got a mother and a father and a God, I'm crazy. I'm gonna just stare at the screen. I'm crazy. If I tell you, you God, even though you have a mother and father and a God, that's crazy. But it ain't for this right here. So when we look at it, we understand that it's not a point of contention. It's a tool for understanding what the term God means. That it's not some spooky term. It's talking about a person in full knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of themselves. And the knowledge is complete because the light is called day. This may come in the form of generations, though, because it's still you being manifested. You know, the Son represents the Father. And this is why you pass on your DNA with intention, meticulously. so that the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding can reach completion. Once it does in your family lineage through your descendants, that's considered an age. Because we wasn't on their type of time. When they saw what our symbol for completion, which was the number 7, they dumbass thought we was counting something. They thought we was counting sunrises and sunsets, like literal sunrise, but we was counting the sun reaching full knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of himself through his descendants. Whenever this happened, it manifests with a certain type of knowing in all of the descendants. When that does, we know we've reached the end of an age and the beginning of a new one. We was on a whole nother level, but we use symbols, and because they thieves, they liars, but they didn't have our understanding. They thought we was counting, but completion don't have nothing to do with an amount. 7 symbolize completion, and the sacred is above the profane. So they took what was holy and profaned it, gave it back to you upside down and backwards. How? What you mean? They told you your story was about this guy. That's not his story. Get it? And they kept your story of my story. So in the end, the mystery gonna be revealed. What you think happened? But it's coming from niggas though. And niggas been put at the bottom of society, up under everybody's foot. That man put his whole knee on that man's neck for 8 minutes. How the world see niggas? Because you the light of the world. When the world, it's a world, it's upside down. So, they put the Son of God, the children of the Most High, the gods of this realm at the bottom. Ain't you at the bottom, nigga? Ain't no crime or hate bill to keep people from doing nothing to you. They get paid vacations when they off you. You ain't figured it out yet? Don't get mad at me because I just put it in your face. Yeah, man. So when we get to Genesis chapter 1 and we look at verse 26, we looking at what our ancestors left us. Because God, the title, which God is a title, that's part of your inheritance, baby. It's time for you to inherit your title in this realm. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And some people know your inheritance coming. They know it. Ooh, it's time for you to inherit your title. Let me show you why. Let me show you what I mean for those who need the script. The children, they used to worship the sun, right? Just to get into more profane. Let's just go all the way profane. It's the only way you don't understand. They used to worship the sun, right? Well, they call you the children of the sun. Because it feeds you. And sun is symbolic, sun, that's where you get your light from, right? Is the sun, where if you in the dark. The sun is where you get your light from. But what do light mean? Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So that's what they're symbolic of. The sun is symbolic of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. If what you can see is below what can't be seen, because sacred is above the profane. Even when you look at it like that, as we keep telling you, that's below you. The sun is below you. It's beneath you with the blue under his feet. The sky is sapphire blue. When you come into understanding, you understand that the sky is different from the kingdom. The kingdom is above the sky. So, talking about God, right? Somebody in full knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of who and what they are, passed on to them through their DNA. That way, imposters can't get it and the fake and phony can't get it. It got to be in your DNA, and it's unlocked through your DNA. And if it is, we can tell. And if you got it out of the book or from Dr. Such and Such with the PhD and the degree and the book, we know that too. And God said, let us make man in our image. Who is our? Because God is Elohim, and it's a plural word. It means the mighty ones. That's your ancestors. Your ancestors were considered the mighty ones of the earth, of the realm, because of what they knew and understood, what they taught everybody else. Established kingdoms. You see us everywhere, right? I mean, we establish kingdoms everywhere, right? And we finna pass it on. Your ancestors finna pass on what they established to the children. They had a plan for it. The creation narrative is your creation, my creation. The Christians give you the Immaculate Conception first. The only problem with it is that they tell you it was his Immaculate Conception. In reality, it was your Immaculate Conception. The story starts with your conception, don't it? Where else we gonna start at with your story? And your conception, it comes soul first, life first. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. So if we're going to start with your conception, we have to start with the conception of your soul. And that came from when your mama and daddy, who was in alignment and knew who they were, thought about you. And they thought about making you because it was a plan. It wasn't an accident. They wasn't just screwing around and she got pregnant. It was a plan. You existed in their mind, heaven. Tell me when I start lying, man. We talking about culture. Type of understanding of the self being passed on intentionally, in order, based on understanding the cosmos and nature, because we studied it. So here we go. We just looking at it. Who is the us? Who is the us when God say, let us make man in our image? Because they have inserted many concepts into the us. They done put ghosts in there. They brought Jesus, stuck him in there. They have just put the Lord in there. But who is the us? How did you get here? Who is the us that made you in their likeness and in their image? Let's just ask it like that. Who is the us that made you in their likeness and in their image? Did they form you from dust on the ground and blow into you? That's not how you got here, is it? We got to give testimony, man. I know the doctrine say something real strange, but the testimony is you and I and us and we got here through our mother and father. That's the testimony. Testament have to do with testimony, not doctrine. We just gonna get it to you plain until it starts sinking in how you got put under a spell and put into a world. Because the Most High created the heavens and the earth. It don't say nothing about no world. But we'll just take our time till it starts sinking in, till the people understand the difference between heaven and the earth and the world. Who is the us, man? Let's go to my favorite book in the Bible, Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 8 before we can find out who the us is according to the Bible as opposed to the doctrine. And for those that just, Jesus, I'm busting down the same books Jesus did. Unless you gonna sit here and tell me Jesus was busting down Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, what Peter and Paul said. Jesus was busting down Moses and the prophets. Now, Moses means he who is drawn from water now. And waters represent multitudes, peoples, nations, and tongues, see? Because when you come into this understanding, you come out of the multitude, you come out of the world, out of the peoples, nations, and tongues. And you come into the understanding of this law, the law that governs energy, and how to move according to the law that governs energy. Because the sacred can't see energy. You experience it, though, if you're observant. It's different. different. So, Proverbs chapter 8, and we're going to look at the wisdom. I'm going to take my time and help you understand the family unit and what's being built, the type of knowledge that's being passed on from your ancestors. Need you to think when you hear, you need to think that this type of understanding that was attempted to be written down and scripted was passed on to you through your DNA, through your family, for millennia before such thing as recorded history. By the time they came into it, by the time they stole it, it was already ancient. The type of understanding of how we procreate, how we see our counterpart, how we view this realm and how this realm operates. What we call male and female. And male and female, because your mind is probably corrupt. You're in the dark, you're immature, you think male, you think penis, you hear female, you think vagina. But that's not what male and female are describing. It's describing a function. And the function, which is having to do with the understanding of how it works, was symbolized. Female was symbolized as woman. And male was symbolized as man, but it has a meaning, and the meaning is above what it looked like. Sacred and profane. And many people open up this book and thinking they speaking from the highest form of authority, but you're speaking from the most corrupted. If you are dependent on script as the authority for understanding, you are upside down and backwards. Understanding comes from the kingdom. That's where it comes from. Not books, not doctrines, not teachers. I'm giving you testimony. I'm sharing revelation. I'm able to see it and break it down according to what the light that came on in the kingdom. Nobody taught me what I'm teaching. Nobody. I ain't heard it. Nobody showed it to me. It came by way of revelation. And I've been saying it for a long time. Before TikTok existed, I think even before Instagram existed, I've been putting this out. But let me continue, man. Does not wisdom cry and understanding put forth her voice? So now we seeing wisdom described as female. I'm just doing this to show you who us is. When God said, let us make man in our likeness and our image. We're going to show you who us is according to the Bible. First, we need to understand that wisdom is described to function as female. She produces, she brings forth understanding, knowledge, and chapter 8 of Proverbs tell you everything that wisdom produces. Since she produces, she's considered female. Mother. The one that's pregnant. See, we talking kingdom building. We talking your creation. We talking the creation of the heavens and the earth. So if I'm king and I'm envisioning creating the heavens and the earth, your mind and your body, what am I envisioning? My queen, pregnant with you. Say you, how you pronounce the tetragrammaton, the 4 letters, is you. It mean I am. Showing you how God can have a mama and a daddy and a God and still be God. We just looking at what's in your book. That's all. So we just gonna keep going. Who your God is? I am. What you mean? You can't say that. Okay. All right, man, I can dig it. So all the things that wisdom produced. Now let's look at wisdom, where the wisdom come from. Let's start at verse 22. Let's start at verse 22. Let's read about wisdom in Proverbs chapter 8, verse 22, so we can see who the us is in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, according to the Bible. I don't got no doctrine for you. I don't have a belief system for you. But if you want to deconstruct this book and understand what our ancestors passed down through the ages, walk with me. The Lord in all caps mean the I am. They replace I am with Lord because they consider I am sacred. And to, script it is to profane it. Because you got to know I am. You can't just say I am. You got to know it. So they replaced the sacred with the profane, and they got Lord. That's who you call your God. Your Lord, that's the profane representation of the sacred. When we tell you worship, they gave you Satan worship. The absence of the Most High. Lord is the lowest manifestation of the term. You a landlord yourself, but we don't get into that. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. The word possess. We're dealing with a patriarchy, and we're dealing with the concept of your wife being your possession, your reflection. She's yours. This is a concept of the patriarchy, and we are looking at the patriarchy, the line pen of the scribes, as it's described the relationship as a possession. The I am possessed me at the beginning, in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. So in a lot of time in the kingdom, right, the marriages are arranged. Because the parents, knowing how they manifest and how their grandparents manifest, are looking for how they want their children to reproduce, what line they want to come back through. For this reason, the marriages are arranged in the kingdom. What this means is you only gonna spread your seed with your counterpart have to know who they are and what they are. The light have to be complete in them. They got to be God. And they raised up knowing it. They raised up with it. This is the relationship between the Lord and his wisdom. Let's keep going. The book will confirm it. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. We're talking about wisdom now, which is described to function as her or female. We're talking about who was there in the beginning. That's what we're trying to figure out, who the us was. So we got to look in the book and see who was there in the beginning. And the book say she was. And we know we being made in the likeness and image of mama and daddy. And we hear about mama, but we hear about daddy, but they hid mama from you. So we got to make sure you know who was there in the beginning. So that's why we read the I am, the Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. They was already set up and lined up to, you gonna be, that's gonna be, y'all gonna do y'all things. We gonna raise y'all up together. Make sure y'all on it. So when y'all procreate and pass on our DNA and our seed, we know great-great-grandmother and great-great-granddaddy and ourselves is coming back through good stock. Because we know what it is to be immortal and how immortality manifests. We know we come back through. We know how we want to come back through. We planning on it. We talking about God, right? Full knowledge being complete. All right, let's keep going now. Make sure we know who was there at the beginning. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. So before any work was done, for any seen or unseen, she was there. That's why she said to be pregnant, because everything that was done and manifested through the wisdom of, by way of wisdom. Well, what's made that was made by God that don't contain the wisdom of God? You look like your mama and your daddy. Before the mountains, hold on, when there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no mountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth. So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Mama was there. The wisdom of God is mama. She manifests as nature. That's why you see power manifest. God manifests himself through his pregnant woman. So you see power manifest itself through nature, earthquake, thunder, lightning. You. So we consider the night sky female, that the son was born from her like a womb. And the sons, are the souls that manifest in and through and from mama, put there by the father. Because she represent the unseen. The unseen is made manifest through nature, and nature manifests itself in cycles or circles, which is the root word for church, which is the body. I don't have a doctrine for you. I do have testimony. But the people prefer the most corruptible form of the testimony. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree that the waters should not pass his commandment. What are the waters? Because, it have a symbolic meaning. And the meaning is always above what the symbol look or sound like. Peoples, nations, and tongues, multitudes. Then I was by him as one brought up with him. Told you that in the kingdom, the marriages are arranged. We always talk about mama. We talk about the father, but we don't never talk about the mother. Just like we talk about the son, but we never talk about the sister. The sister is earth that we stand on. What do it mean? Understanding. She's the daughter of wisdom. That's why the earth is called female or she as well. And the sun, that's us, the strength that represent the strength of power being made manifest, symbolizing the sun and the sky. But the meaning is above what you can see. So when you look at light, but what does light mean? Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that's in the sun. It's a family, a royal divine family that manifests ourselves, our DNA, in and through everything. So they called us gods because we had this type of knowledge. And we shared it with the world through symbols and signs to those that was ready to have it and ready to get it. But you had one that got greedy and wanted to steal it. And in his hands, the tools and symbols that were used to keep knowledge and pass it on was used to put people to sleep and in the dark in his hands. But you got put to sleep under a spell in his hands because he didn't have the understanding of the information that we have that's passed on through DNA. But in the time that the mystery is revealed, the seals is broken and everything is going to be put plain. The problem is it's going to come through niggas. And we all know how much you hate niggas. Then I was by him as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him. Talking about their relationship before the creation of the world. Mom and daddy was, young teenage love. Brought up together in the same neighborhood, around each other. They always knew each other. They family knew each other family. They go way back. Yet we established this type of living, this type of way, this type of setup that come from us. That's what we telling you. That's why they work so hard to break up your family unit, and the lineage and your culture and your heritage. They don't want you to remember. Because when you do, you're going to figure out that what they was calling God, what they call God in your book, is talking about you and your ancestors. And it's hard to hear, it's hard to accept, it's hard to digest because you don't see yourself as what you are. You think your intellect has to be validated by your enemy. So you listen to Dr. Reverend Deacon such and such, because he got a PhD and he speak this language and he speak that language, thinking that this stuff is unlocked by intellect. It's not. I tell you, it's unlocked by revelation to give praise to the Most High. To say, hey man, this is a blessing. This is an inheritance. This was a gift. It came by way of revelation. I didn't earn it. Wasn't something I did good or nothing I figured out. That way I can give testimony. And hey man, the people that heard it, many people that have sit and listened and gone through the videos have had their own revelations. Some of them in real time while we was yet speaking, lights started cutting on. That way we can give testimony about what we hearing and what it is we experiencing. That it don't have nothing to do with a doctrine or a belief, man. Either you a witness of it, either it's happening to you or it's not. Either you can see it happening in front of you or you can't. That's why I say I don't have an interest in trying to be right according to anybody's doctrine. First and foremost, because I have witnessed and experienced what the religious people call right. I'm not seeking for agreement because I bear witness, I can testify. I've seen and experienced what you agree to, what you agree with. So we don't weigh what you looking for your agreement or what you call right in this type of discussion. This is based upon whether or not you can understand what's being said and whether or not it's true or false. Tell me when I start lying. That's the level that we on when we create this content. If you can understand it, if you can understand it, hey man, our praise be to the Most High. Thank God, thank the ancestors. I'm thankful that you get it. Then that's why I always talk about the next step, man. It's another step. We'll get to the next step in a minute though. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got any comments? Anything they want to ask? Don't be shy. If I come across impatient or whatever, it's not you, it's me. I'm here to do this. It's what I'm here to do. Yeah, a lot of people act like you have to have your intellect validated by your oppressors for, like, we can't give revelation. They say, show me that out the Bible. I can't, if I sit here and just talk plain, I'm talking crazy. But if I get the Bible and I read you Bible verses to back up what I'm saying, then it's like, oh, okay. And it's sad. This is evidence of being indoctrinated. Not only that, not only are you indoctrinated, you are ignorant of the order of things. Since you think the book have authority over the kingdom. And this is backwards. Hey man, what comes from the kingdom have authority over anything you can see, touch, taste, smell, or hear. And if you trust it, you will see it'll be confirmed in everything you can see, touch, taste, smell, and hear. But if you reject it, because you can choose to, hey, you can tell them niggas you roll with whatever you want, but you and I know what's going on, don't you? You can say out your mouth what you want, but you know when the understanding came, pride may make you reject it. The messenger may make you, nah, I'm not going to accept this coming from this nigga. I got to hear this from Dr. Such and Such or somebody with a bunch of money, somebody rich and famous. If they said, yeah, but coming from you, nigga, no. I can dig it. This was part of the prophecy that's gonna come. That's why it's coming the way it's coming. But yeah, man, it's somebody just got them. So I have questions. When the Bible speak of temple, does that mean your physical temple on your head? It's not called a temple by coincidence. It's not called temple by coincidence. They call this a temple, man. We're talking about God, right? First, well, how far along did you get into this live? Because I spent a lot of time despoofifying the term God. So what does the term God mean to you first before we go any further into the temple part? What does the term God mean to you? The word back you up, bro. Yeah, reality itself is backing up everything I'm saying. Cause it's not coming from my intellect. I'm in a flow. When I get in here, I get into a flow. I let the ancestors, the DNA, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that's been in this DNA unlock and go. And I do my best knowing that it is being corrupted once I speak it. I still ask permission. Hey, should I do it? Should I go live? Should I speak it? Should I put this out here? And yeah, I go ahead and go. Denise say Jesus Christ is Lord. Do you know what the name Jesus mean in English? Do you know what the term title Christ mean in English? Because when we talk about the sacred versus the profane, the meaning is above what it sound like or what it look like. So the meaning come first. Do you know the meaning of the name in the title? When you say a name in a title and you don't know the meaning of it, it's what your book called vanity or speaking in vain. I have a question. If the Most High says you shall not kill, then how can it be a sacrifice of ain't no sacrifice in the Bible? Let's read the book. In the book, in the creation narrative, it say God finished with all his work. This is Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. And if in the Bible it says God finished with all his work, at that point in the Bible, no sacrifice had been mentioned. Neither had the concept of death been mentioned. There was no Jew, Gentile, Muslim, Christian. So these concepts did not come from the Most High. They didn't come from God. Now, when we talk about animals, we're talking about beings that are symbolically, the meaning is life, people, beings that are unaware of themselves. They don't know who they are, they don't know what they are, don't know why they are. You know, like animals. Animals not aware of themselves. They are ruled by the sun, moon, and stars and their instincts. This type of way of thinking and being must be given up. You dig what I'm saying? I have seen him. You saw who you, oh, you saying you saw Jesus. That's who you saying you saw Jesus. Oh, okay. Well, if you saw Jesus, okay, what did he look like? Where you see him at? Because this is where in the kingdom we deal with testimony and testifying. And we know seeing is, you can see with two eyes, you can see with this eye by way of having knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But hey, I understand where you are, and there's many people that are there where you are right now. You're doing a great job of deconstruction of the doctrine we were taught coming up. I appreciate that. Animals are ruled by man. Okay, so you got to understand the creation narrative in this order. We was talking about the fourth day of creation and the four letters. The tetragrammaton literally means the four letters. All right. What happened on the fourth day of creation? Our government was put in place. What governs us? The children of God, the gods of this realm, the children of the Most High, our government was set in place on the fourth day of creation. And what governs us are the lights put into the firmament, not the stars in the sky. If you read the verse, it say the stars were made also. But before you get to the stars being made also, we talked about the lights and the placement of them and their purpose. And the lights, which are separate from the stars, is like the night sky. It symbolizes it like the night sky. We talking about your subconscious and conscious mind. And if there are more lights, it's more light, it's more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in your subconscious mind than there is in your conscious mind. Because your DNA contains more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding than you are consciously aware of. You might not figure it out till you pick up a guitar, go to playing on the piano, that music is in your DNA. You weren't conscious of it yet, though, but it was in the subconscious. And since that is where the greater light is contained, this is considered the governor, your government. And the lights of the subconscious mind is your DNA, the knowledge, wisdom passed on through your DNA. That's why when you look at the stars in the sky, you're looking into the past. You're looking at your ancestors and the lights, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you got from them. That's what's sitting in your subconscious. That's what govern these constellations, this family govern your conscious mind like the constellations govern the sun. So this is your government. These are your rulers. It even used the term that this said it is set up to govern the day. So that's your government. But you may have given up your government that was passed on and given to you by your ancestors, so you can pinch people on St. Patrick's Day and barbecue on the 4th of July. Because you're the only one here that don't know who they are. Itching to tell me about Peter and Paul. Yeah. Appreciate you telling her to do that, Kitty. You know, the indoctrinated, they may be triggered. I issued a trigger warning before I began this live. You may not have been present when I did so. I started this live by acknowledging this moment, that each moment of this present is brand new. And it's called the present because it's a gift. And I've been given many gifts. They got old. I lost some of them. But I'm experiencing existence inside a present that each moment of it is always new and that I can't lose. And so I consider that a miracle. I bring attention to it because it's a miracle that I'm a witness to and can testify to. as opposed to reading a report of a miracle that I'm not a witness to. So that means I can't testify to it. And it's kind of ironic and upside down how our people acknowledge so-called miracles that they weren't witnesses to, and didn't experience and can't testify to, but deny the miracle of the moment. Don't get mad at me because you don't know what a miracle is. I know you don't. So we have to bust down. I find myself having to explain to people what a miracle is. I have to explain to you that the sun, according to the creation narrative, wasn't put into the sky until the fourth day of creation. So that means you can't measure time until the fourth day of creation. Which is, I'm saying, your ancestors was putting it down before there was a such thing as time. Because we was looking for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be made complete. We consider that an age. Because, we consider knowledge, wisdom, and understanding light, regardless of what was going on in the sky. But your enemy, because we used the sky to symbolize what we were talking about, they thought we was actually talking about the sky. So we get to, in their own deceit, they got caught up. Because you stole something wasn't yours. You tried to fake a front like it was yours and it came from you, of what's being revealed. You didn't even have no understanding of what you claimed was yours and came from you. Caught you with your hand in the cookie jar again, but they always show you who they are, what they are. They steal everything. They don't invent nothing. Destruction, disease, dis-ease, deceit. They don't invent nothing. Why you think they watch you, see what you gonna do, so they can do it? Hear what you gonna say, so they can say it. So when you get the seasons changing, right, before you get the sun and the moon in the sky, you got vegetation growing. How the vegetation grow without the sun and the moon and the star? We saying that the vegetation grew and what you eating and how you seeing it grow grew by knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Don't get mad at me because you don't know what a miracle is. A miracle you still get the experience to this day. You eat from it. You don't call it a miracle. I don't know why. When you see these seasons changing and they been changing and they keep coming through and like you can like clockwork, hey man, that's miraculous, Jack. That's something that, according to the book, was spoken into existence from the beginning and it's still going on today. You still a witness to it. It ain't changed nothing. These are miracles we are witnesses to, though. I'm talking about what we experience. You got a report that you believe in, a translation of a report of a miracle that you believe in. We're telling you about what we testifying and experience that you can't even see in front of you. If they lips move in they line, I'm talking about absolutely and positively, they caught up in a doctrine. They think that they book have authority, dominion, and rule in this realm. So you have to use their book to show them, first and foremost, let's establish the dynamics of this exchange. Dominion, authority, and rule is given to man. I'm a man. Dominion means supreme authority. Absolute. Meaning here in this realm, there is no higher authority. And then because we know the difference between sacred and profane, we understand that the script, where you get scripture from, is the lowest, most corruptible form of communication. But we dealing with the most high. So what's the most high incorruptible form of communication? Revelation, nonverbal. And where do that come from? The kingdom. So we put revelation and what comes from the kingdom above the spoken word in the script. Very few people that are indoctrinated even understand this concept. That when we get into the script, I'm actually getting into the most profane, corruptible form of communication because that's the only thing you understand, which is proof that you're under a spell. I can't get through to you without having to refer to a script. Talking about nature, I'm talking about your DNA, your family tree intentionally being passed on. And you telling me I gotta show you this in a book for you to accept how you got here. It's sad. But I gotta remember and remind myself to be patient because all your life they told you and your granny and your granddaddy that this was God. And you want to confirm that, you want to back that up, you finna give me all kind of script. I just read for you John chapter 20 verse 17 on purpose. That's why I got it up there on purpose. But the take that I'm giving on the scripture is not what you're used to hearing. But I'm just taking the scripture and explaining it plainly what it means. And in that scripture, you learn that God can have a father and a mother and a God and still be God. But if I tell you that about this guy, you can accept that. You'll say, yeah, that's true. But if I tell you not, it's talking about you, that you have a father and a mother and a God, yet you are still God, you can't accept it about you. It's how indoctrinated you are. It's how ridiculous it is that you would believe this is God. At one time you believed it. You may got it tattooed on you, hung around your neck, pictures in your house. They used to have it in your grandmama and them churches. I got this picture out of King James Bible, the King James Bible that my granddad left us. May he rest in peace. You can't hear it without a preacher because he is sent by God through our Lord. Oh man, Brian Staples, you sound like you one of the indoctrinated, man. All this talking I've been doing and you still ain't. I've been giving the scripture, telling you what the word God means. So the question, Brian, is what does God mean to you? What does that word mean to you? That's the first. Before we go any further, I need to understand, what do you think that word means? Do you believe that there is nothing above that term, which is a title? Do you know who the title applies to? Because you can't apply a title to what cannot be seen, touched, taste, smelled, or heard. Catch that if you can. You can only apply titles to what can be seen, touched, taste, smelled, or heard. Awareness of an unexplainable presence is a phenomenon. Exactly. Exactly. Couldn't have put it no better, man. Awareness of an unexplainable presence is a phenomenon that is beautifully put. And this awareness of an unexplainable presence in the phenomenon that it is I am. You. Which bring us back to, if you don't know who you are, who you talking about when you say God and Jesus and Muhammad, Allah, Yahuwah? If you don't know who you are, how can you know them and believe in them without knowing who you are? Why would you put knowing who someone else is that's outside of you above and before you get to know and learn you? And in order to truly investigate and get to seek to learn and know you, you got to look at the components of you, mama and daddy, which leads you to your ancestors and your lineage. You're looking for you, right? Trying to understand you. So why you go to Peter and Paul instead of mama and daddy, mother and father? Why you go to the world instead of to the kingdom? You went to the church instead of to the temple. Why? And when we tell you you in upside down backwards world because you move backwards, you do everything backwards, this is the highest form of worship is imitation. So you know how you worship Satan? Doing stuff backwards, doing everything backwards. Shadow realm, the absence of wisdom, confusion, Babylon, held captive. The children are held captive in Babylon, in confusion. Why? Because they don't know who they are. Identity got stole. They got indoctrinated. They got turned upside down and backwards. Now they placed a book and a title that they got out of the book above everything in their mind. So the only way you gonna reach them, you gotta talk to them through the book. You gotta go line by line, precept up on precept. Cause that's the only thing they understand is the Lord's most corruptible form of communication, which is called script. And they hate niggas. And the revelation and the confirmation is coming through niggas. So now we got two problems. I'm just talking to you plain. I'm not pouring nothing on it. I'm not trying to dress it up for you or nothing. Ones that's dressing it up for you are acting, or they are actors, they are imposters. They've been lying to you for a very long time. They've been lying to your ancestors too. That's their language. When we talk about the serpent, we talk about the one with the forked tongue because they practice what's called double speak. So they'll sit in front of you and they be talking about you, but they'll talk about you in code so that you'll never know it. So in their award ceremonies, when they say, I like to thank God, first off, I like to thank God, they actually talking about you and that they got rich and famous off your ignorance. They was able to achieve that status and those riches, achieve that status and those riches and that, fame because of your attention and your investment. Uh, Brian Staples. You just in like you can come up if you have enough followers, but you just in my comment section just typing, and you just typing the indoctrination, and it's like, man, if you want to come up and we can have a conversation and we can look at your scripture and see if I'm lying about anything I'm saying, but just spewing stuff, it's like, man, what is your point? What are you getting from typing in my live like this? Nothing wrong with going to church. It's a hospital for the sick, and I didn't say anything was wrong about, I ain't said nothing about right or wrong. I said true or false. I'm talking true or false. Saying you got the real church, the body, you got the fake, phony, false church, the building. Cause it's Brian Staples, I'm talking to you. I need you to listen. Stop typing. Listen. Listen, Brian. There is a difference between what is sacred and what is profane. So when we talk about the churches, the body, we talking about the body that you can't see with your eyes. That body. And we are encouraging people to go to that church. Go to that body that's within you before you go to the building. Because what you can't see, touch, taste, smell, or hear is what's considered sacred. That comes from the kingdom. And we place that above what you can see, like that building. And we know the difference now between the sacred and the profane. So we not going to go to the profane for understanding or worship. We're going to go to the sacred. It's what I'm trying to get through to you. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. I'm just trying to get you to understand what I'm saying. So you can stop typing what you're typing in my live. Your energy. Just checking the energy in here. You know, like we got to check the temperature. Yeah, but it's this is the point though of trying to reach the indoctrinated and get you to at least think about what's being said here and investigate it. I'm not lying about nothing I'm telling you. Whether you like it or not, or think it's right. Everything I'm saying is backed up in your book. It's just not taught the way your pastor, your preacher taught it to you. Because he's working from the pulpit. You know, slaves have always had to have overseers. That's why they have so many churches in your neighborhood, nigga. That's why they have so many churches in your neighborhood, nigga. It got to have overseers for their slaves. And the church house is a place where they oversee the slaves from the pulpit and encourage you to keep being a good one week after week. Keep participating in this system. Don't stop. Wait. Jesus is coming. Just keep on going to work, paying them bills, waiting on Jesus. Don't stop paying them bills now. Paying them taxes and the building fund. And just hold on. Jesus is coming for you. In the meantime, get to work, do your job, do good, work for boss, like he was God himself. In your neighborhood, nigga, but you mad at me. You hear me? So when you go and you observe your neighborhood, I'm talking about our neighborhood, the hood. I'm talking about the hood, man. I ain't talking to no African American. I'm not even talking about black people. I'm talking about niggas. Yeah, where we stay at, man, it's church house on almost every corner. I'm telling you that's for a reason. You don't gotta like it. I don't care if you don't like it. You ain't supposed to like it. You ain't supposed to like this. It's not supposed to be entertaining to you. I don't expect you to like it. Glad you don't. Devils ain't never like gods. Demons ain't never like gods, man. Talking about that know who we are, what we are the most dangerous beings in this world right now. Here you mean. They churches all over the place. Yeah, the churches and the liquor stores in your neighborhood, nigga, on purpose. You run around here stuck on stupid, playing like you can't see. They taught you how to read everything but symbols and signs, didn't it? So all you know how to read is spells, right? The alphabet you got from King James now. They English. It's all you know how to read, right? It's all you can understand. Well, books say that you was given signs to read. You don't know how to read signs. But that's because they never teach slaves how to read. You just don't know you're a slave. But it's evident in you not being able to read signs. It's evident in you thinking and your grandmama and them thinking that this is God. You got the mind of a slave. You can't see yourself. When we come showing you who you are, you fight it. You can't say that about me. You can't say, God, I'm unworthy. I'm wretched. I'm no good. Yeah, that's what your slave master and your accuser always say about you. The sad part is now you say it about yourself. I don't know if King James was black or not. I know King James represent a government. And I know the government that I was given was placed inside my firmament, or the firm mind passed on to me through DNA. That's what my government consists of. Greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule. That's my government. It even used the term govern in the book. So whatever came from King James and his government is for his children and those that follow him. So a lot of people caught up on what they got from this government. Again, they don't understand the difference between sacred and profane, y'all. I'm telling you, these me sitting here talking like this is not me telling you about an understanding I got from the Bible or of the Bible. I'm sharing with you revelation, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding I got through DNA from the kingdom. And when the light cut on, I was able to see and hear different. And I was able to break down this script. And I was able to see what's true. You know, the light is a truth. And you can break down anything you look at with the light of truth to its essence, what it is. For confirmation for you that this stuff is unlocked through DNA. That the book is not the authority. The book is observations that came from your ancestors. This stuff is in your DNA. The book is in the book. It is written of me. In the book, it is written of you when you know who the hell you are. Damn. You are he who was drawn from water. You are I am salvation, the anointed. Ain't you the light of the world? Okay, then what is the world being saved from? Darkness. You are the light of the world. I make you a savior, right? I ain't but one. You, the anointed one. What are you anointed with? With your mission to do what? Be the light of the world. Come on, y'all. You got a mother and a father, right? And a God. I'm telling you, you God though. Anyway, at the same time, so I read to you John chapter 20, verse 17, where the one you call God, he got a father that he telling you about, and he got a God. And y'all know who the mother that he came out of. And it's like, it's how more plain can it be put? I don't understand. I do understand it that the people, it say darkness. He said it ain't a darkness, not the darkness you can see. It's a darkness you can feel. Darkness is over the surface of the deep. And it's like, wow, man. But this is a journey I've been on for 13 years. The revelation started 13 years ago when I met what I thought was a homeless man. 13 years ago. I just posted a post on Facebook from 11 years ago with me sharing the revelation that it's not pronounced Yahweh or Yahuwah, it's pronounced you. That's why I mean I am. We was doing this, posting this 11 years ago. I ain't just roll up out the bed, pooted, farted, and jumped on the internet and started saying this stuff because I heard of some old people saying it. I've been sharing these revelations since they started coming. 13 years ago, around the time when I was 30 years old. But it's like, it's hard, it make it hard for me to understand. I get confused with all the other stuff about how a man or woman should dress and this and that. This is why they took off or cut you off from knowing who your ancestors are, so that those type of questions you wouldn't have had to ask because you already know the culture and the customs of how to dress and how they eat and how they act would have been passed on to you. And you represent your ancestors and your culture. What I'm trying to get through to the people right now in 2024 is your ancestor and your culture is God. You are the rightful inheritors of the title. That's your title. These are the creation narrative. This your tradition. This your culture. This is the understanding that was passed down from your ancestors through your DNA. The creation narrative. Then when we start talking about the understanding of this and how it manifests is when we get into the procession from Adam to Abraham to Moses to Jesus. But it's given to you in allegories. Your development, your consciousness, because you know knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, once it's complete, it's a day. They stole your identity. And they tried to use your stolen identity to hide theirs. But you won't believe it. You don't. You will not believe it about yourself. You will not accept that when this book is talking about God, it's talking about your ancestors. You can't accept it. I understand. I get it. You hear the sirens? You've been indoctrinated too deep. Talking like this, you gonna get in trouble. Ain't nothing above that term. Ain't nothing above that title. You were given supreme authority. You right. Ain't nothing above you in this realm. You absolutely right. You upside down backwards world though, so they put you at the very bottom of it, didn't they? All right, well. Not to be mean, but it's not recessive genes. Oh, y'all talking about the variation when we talking about melanated? That's deep. I'm on the still learning understanding. I'm 33, almost 34, but this just the beginning. Yeah, we all still learning. That's why I say I'm sharing revelations as opposed to sharing what I figured out. It's a difference. Conversation different, hit different. This ain't got nothing to do with what I figured out. It's what make it easy and let it flow. I really enjoy your teaching, so true. Thanks for sharing with us. We appreciate you. I appreciate y'all being in here and enjoying it, eating it up, soaking it up. You know what I'm saying? Reciprocate the energy, reciprocate the effort. If at all possible, pass it on, pass it understanding on, walk on it, marinate on it, meditate on it, think about it. I gave y'all the 2 verses that I gave y'all. And hopes that is help you break down in your mind this term God and quit spookifying this term. Quit falling out and suspending critical thinking every time you hear a group of consonants and vowels. For at least you'll know the difference between the sacred and profane. Always look to the meaning of something. I don't care how it sounds, what you feel about it, look to what it means. If you have a meaning, look it up. That's on you if you choose not to and you just want to go with the feeling. I don't got nothing to do with that. But when you grow up a little bit, you want to start understanding things for yourself, not just for how I feel. Look up the meaning of the word so you can stop believing in it and you can start knowing it. It's time to grow up for real. You know what I mean? Like it's really time to grow up because they're not going to give you no real information, especially about you or anything that's going to empower you. They're not gonna give you that. If you're looking to get it from them, you lost anyway. So I'm trying to point you back home first. Go in. Your ancestors there waiting on you. All the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that is accumulated in the making of you. A lot of people went into making you. They go way, way back. That had to exist and go through the things that they went through in order for you to get here. It passed some stuff on to you, but it's on the inside. It ain't not here. So we trying to help you reconnect to it, help you get back to your power source, to your government, to the lights in your firmament, the firm mind. Because the mind got to be firm. People tell you ain't shit. Hey, nigga, you ain't nothing, can't never be nothing, nigga. We're going to try to keep you dumb, keep you working hard, nigga, and keep you dumb, nigga. I say, we're going to keep you working hard, nigga, and we're going to keep you dumb, nigga. So it's hard for you to go in and see God when the world project that at you 24/7. You might be getting it at home. Then you go out into the world and you get it from the world. So it's hard for you to go in and see God in the world that's seen hell bent on making you see yourself as nothing. I get it. That's why I say the firm mind, the firmament. Mind got to be firm before we can even put light in it. Because it's the light that made the firmament good. Remember that. I have been in the church for 6-7 years and I'm waking up to the truth, but many refuse to accept. Yeah, it ain't about, when we say our eyes seeing, when Christ come, our eyes will see. When the understanding come, all 3 of your eyes gonna open up. You're gonna start seeing with all 3 of your eyes. All 3 of your eyes. It's not talking about what anybody else see. It's talking about what you can now see. It's gonna be reflected in your speech, in your actions, as you begin to disconnect from a lot of stuff that excite the world but no longer excite you. But understand that you're gonna the first thing you observe is the darkness. Those that refuse to accept it. This is what the scripture mean when it said darkness is over the surface of the deep. Because the first thing you observe, when the light cut on, is the darkness. You're going to see the deception for what it is. You're going to be able to see it plain. But your peers, your loved ones, they not. And they not going to be able to recognize you no more, because when you show up with all three eyes on, you showing up as your resurrected self. Like how the story of Jesus, when he showed up as his resurrected self, they didn't recognize him. Yeah, it's going to get real deep. And all the scriptures, you're going to see the script is all confirming who and what you are. Then you'll be able to read it again from the beginning and understand who the audience is, what it's about, and who it came from. And then you're going to be able to understand why your enemy, the way he's been teaching it and presenting it for the last 2,000 years, is evidence that it wasn't his information and he never understood it. When you see that, you're going to stop letting your enemy talk to you about anything. Hey, man, I'm going to say this, and I don't say this lightly. I hate his system. I hate his religious system. I hate his political system. I hate his economic system. And I don't say it lightly. So my goal, my aim is with the people that's like-minded that get it, not only believe, but know, man, we coming together to do our own thing and build our own. We ain't worried about what nobody think can't be done, neither. Because I done a few things in my life people told me couldn't be done. I did it anyway. They got so mad they tried to off me because I did it in their face. True story. I'm 58 and the Most High woke me up in 2018 and I tried to get my family on board. But so when you understand, I tell people this all the time. When you wake up and you realize you the first one in the house that's woke, it's time to understand that just like you woke up, when it was time for you to wake up, they're gonna wake up when it's time for them to wake up. And you have a choice. You can sit in front of them hollering and try to shake them and wake them up, or you can watch over them and protect them while they sleep. Choice is yours. But it's not up to you when they wake up. You can make sure they good while they sleep, or you can run through the house beating on the walls, screaming and hollering. It's up to you. You can prepare a meal for them for when they wake up, they have something to eat. They smell that food cooking, it might wake them up. One thing about waking up, though, man, you got to wake up gradually, man. You get jarred awake. You might resent the one that woke you up. Then if the light too bright, you going, hey, man, cut the light off. It's hurting my eye. You did what I'm saying? So you got to look at how you got woke up. Did you get woke up by somebody slapping you, standing over you, shaking you, or did you wake up gradually in stages? So you may not be doing them a favor by shocking them away. That's why I give a trigger warning before I start doing this live. Because I know if you're not really ready to hear it, it's going to be triggering to you and I'll be doing you more harm than good. because you're going to be taking offense. You feeling some type of way. Now you confused. I don't know what to think. Hey, man, this wasn't for you. You supposed to kept scrolling when I gave that trigger warning. So I wouldn't have to be on here debating you about nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm only debating you because I'm telling you a truth that you're not ready to accept. So now we have to debate it because you're not ready to accept the truth. And it's like, man, I really don't debate the truth. Divine Feminine showed me the way. They told me, hey, man, we get more out of you breaking down and deconstruction the scripture than arguing back and forth with indoctrinated people. Because you always end up arguing back and forth over the same topics, the same subjects with no real progress. Even if I go over the same topic when I'm discussing it, you still get different gems, different looks because it's in a form of discussion as opposed to, debating them same tenets of religion. Yeah, they probably can't handle it. It'll break your mind. This type of stuff will break your mind if you're not ready. Type of stuff that had you questioning reality. And we ain't even broke the surface when we start talking about how many times we done died before. We talk about how you only get to the shadow realm by dying. People not ready to investigate that when we say go into the darkness. That the graves, the life is put into a grave. The body is put into a grave. This is dirt. This is a grave when you sleep. It's a temple when you woke up. It's a grave. It's a tomb when you sleep, though. We ain't even went that far into it. We just looking at the surface, trying to understand basic terms like God and light and wisdom and woman and kingdom and family. We still there. And people want to take you to Peter and Paul and don't even know what a day is. You ask them what a day is. We're 24-hour period. What somebody said. How you gonna tell me about some Peter and Paul, man? You don't even understand Genesis. But this is what we got. If somebody arguing right now on this app with all their heart, all their might, that this guy here this is God and this is the Father. They right now. Tell me when I start lying. There's a whole bunch of people on this app right now trying to show in the script that this guy right here is God and this guy is the Father. Even though I got the verse up there to show you otherwise in the script. It's called indoctrination. Indoctrinated mean those are the people that tell you that you have to show me this in the Bible. If you ever hear them say, man, we sticking to what's in the Bible, we sticking to the scripture, that mean they don't know the difference between the profane, the sacred, and the profane. And the script is the most profane, lowest corruptible form of communication. Revelation is the highest. Spoken, the air is in between. We left the vowels out on purpose. The vowels are the consonants. Them the parts of it that don't change. I mean, the consonants are the parts that don't change, or the vowels are the parts that change. Like the seasons, levels of awareness. It's the high speech and the low speech. Those that stuck to the script, they not even aware of this. Only thing they understand is the lowest, most corruptible form. That's the only way you can reach them. That's why we say of them, they are under a spell. They don't understand signs and symbols, revelation and meaning. They want to know what it sound like, a name, and what it look like, a character. That's all they get. So we no longer waste our time debating them. You can come sit down, listen, and learn. But there's nothing to debate here. The only question you can ask and answer is, am I telling the truth or am I lying? The time is now. I don't care what the clock say. That's what time it is. It's now. I don't have a need to debate with you whether or not it's now. Why would I do that? And I don't believe it's now. I don't think it's now. I know it's now. Right now, I'm in it. I'm experienced. I'm a witness to it. I'm in it. Why would I debate that? Because it say something on your clock from where you off. So from your perspective, you understand now as being whatever time of the clock. So we don't let your level of perception or awareness become our problem, because we know wherever you at, where I'm at, is say something different on the clock. But what is the same and remains the same, it's now for both of us, regardless of what the clock say. There's no need to debate that. Yeah, we in a new age, so you're seeing a new type of consciousness being made, the dawning of a new light. The coming into the awareness, a new type of consciousness is being made manifest. It's taking humanity, the children, first starting with the children of the Most High, it's taking humanity from the age of belief, Pisces, into the age of Aquarius, knowing. I'm going to be with you till the end of the age. They hid you from you. In the comments, if you believe white man in the sound is going to come off the yeah, it's gonna take a while, but the light is spreading. I know y'all see it, it's spreading. I ain't the only one. I remember 13 years ago, and I wasn't hearing a lot of people outside of John Henry Clark and Bobby Hemmett and Dr. Ray Hagins. Wasn't hearing it, wasn't coming. I wasn't hearing this a lot. But I kept putting it out there, bits and pieces, and I started publicly putting it out there. I got a video on YouTube from 2018, but I say I really started consistently starting after in 2020. I started going live on Facebook. I started putting stuff on YouTube and just busting down the revelations. So this is an accumulation of revelations that came in stages. It didn't come all at one time. It comes in stages. So yeah, I just share it. I post them on my YouTube. You can go on to YouTube and check it out, where you can pause it and rewind it, because some of the stuff that I say on there, I'm in a flow state. So you're gonna have to just catch it in real time, and you'll know it, because the truth I have come to understand and observe has a certain resonance. When you hear the truth being spoken, it resonates and it causes a reaction in the mind. Like lights start cutting on, and you can start applying this stuff in different ways that you never looked at. Questions that you ain't even asked began to be answered in light of the truth. Stuff started connecting and making sense that didn't make sense or connect before. That's why we left the vowels out. Because what's constant, that's going to remain constant. But your level of awareness of what season you in, that's the vowel. That's what might be different. So it might cause you to see the script different depending on your level of awareness of which of the four seasons you are in. Tetragrammaton, 4 letters, is pronounced you. So we hid and we put our stuff in codes because we knew we was dealing with some thieves that was seeing how we was setting up and having our way and doing our thug thistle. So they say, man, if we have this information, we can do what they doing. So they stole it, but they didn't have an understanding. They just got the symbols in the scripts and the signs. And in their hand, it became a spell book to put people to sleep with. Yeah, in their hand, it had the opposite of its intended effect. Because, see, our ancestors are so deep that they coded stuff into their script and symbols that can only be unlocked through their DNA. That's why they call them gods. Why they observed us and it seemed like we was connected with the sun, moon, and stars. That's why. So yeah, now I'm not on here trying to play no games with nobody. We gonna kick it. We gonna meet up. We planning a group where we gonna just have a group trip, a business trip. Let's count it as a business trip because you are the business. We gonna all meet up and kick it at the Oyotunji Village. Oyotunji Village. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Oyotunji. It is the only kingdom of melanated people in the U.S. They not Hebrew Israelites. They not Christians. They practice the Ifa religion, Yoruba from West Africa. The recognition and veneration of their ancestors is what they practice. We're going to go kick it there, get some understanding from them, join in the festivities, volunteer and contribute to what they got going. And it just so happened that it's built on some old plantations. And it's the only kingdom that we built by us, for us, in this land. So when we meet up, that's where we gonna meet up. When we kick it, that's where we kick it. Because that's just how we move. Talking about the kingdom, right? Talking about God, right? Ancient ancestors, kingdom that the ancient ancestors established and taught the world. How to have a family. How to see the family as sacred and divine, which make the family a kingdom. But I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. I think I done did enough with them 2 verses for today. Help you look at it a little bit different. If not, hey, man. But hey, peace, light, and love. Unless y'all got some questions or some comments or somebody want to get in here and show me what Peter and Paul said. I'm going to hold up just for a second for the people that just got to have the doctrine. I'm going to ask you a question if you get in here, though. When you go to talking about God, I'm going to